One day I was sitting in my backyard reading and having a smoke and a cup of tea. I had a real good book. I came across something that really shook me. It said, "Are you willing to make a bonfire of your past souvenirs, letters, and treasure?" And it hit me like a ton of bricks because I already knew my answer, and it was no. Outside looking in, people would say, "Well, why do you need to make a bonfire of your past life?" I had to let go of some of my old behaviors to achieve what I really desired. I began to feel so stupid, but in a good way. Have you ever had advice given to you over and over, but it didn't stick? It just didn't hit home? Or you just really didn't understand it then? But years later, something clicked. That's what happened to me that evening in my backyard. But I realized in that moment that many of those places don't have room for my old souvenirs, letters, and treasures. I started probing myself. I said, could it be that something I treasure is actually trash in my new reality that I'm trying to enter? And a nice little cool breeze came through and the knockout came. Some of the things that I've held on to so tight were the things that were blocking me from where I wanted to go. You can really only hold so much in your hand. Am I holding on to an old souvenir from a past life that has nothing to do with where I want to go? If I just set down that old souvenir from my life, I could move into the reality that I wanted. I began to look over my life. Many times I kept my hands full with old useless things. I should have put those things down and grab onto my future. And it's not just sitting back telling yourself all the good stuff that you want to hear. You gotta grab yourself by the collar and have a moment sometime. In the backyard, that was my moment. And my life is far from perfect. I know there's some places I want to go, and there's some places I want to get away from and never see again. But I'm ready to burn some of those reminders of what I was so that I can get into what I want to be. For some folks, this could be friends. Loyalty is pushed when someone comes out of a batch of people who don't have shit. You must bring everyone out the hood or put them on. When they don't, they are labeled a sellout. You see, I had two goals when I was younger. One was to get rich, and number two, that was to look out for everyone that was with me from day one. That's all I wanted. But I realized as I got older, there's a problem with this. Some folks is just around. They're not assisting or encouraging you in any way at all. They are just there hanging around you like a liquor store on a Friday night. And just because you were near the start of my greatness does not give you a right to the end product. And then you got some friends who are actually blocking you. I remember I had some of those friends. I used to call them good time friends. They was only there for a good time and nothing else. And I'm not really hating on them. I had a great time with them. Didn't get shit done, but I had a blast. But then that time came where I had to grab myself by the collar and I had to say, look, get going. You gotta get stuff done. And I had to pull away from those friends I tried to hold on to. Because I was able to see with my own eyes that trying to work and get things done and chill with folks who thrived on not working doesn't work. And to tell you the truth, most of the time, I fell back in line. And then I complained, like most folks do. And I asked, why ain't nothing getting better? We honestly don't want to hear it, but we gotta let some of that shit go in the fire. Some of the shit in our lives just gotta burn so we can get to where we want to be. And the key point in letting that shit go, it's us. Can you make a bonfire of your past treasures, letters, souvenirs? Once I heard that, I knew that I was holding on to things that were not good for me. Why? I held on to stuff that I should have let go. I feared that I would be left with nothing. This is basically living the adage, something is better than nothing. And doing this to myself didn't let me grow into the reality that I wanted. And it also weighed me down. Everything that I was holding on to, it was just too much for me to be carrying. Elevators, bridges, bikes have a weight limit. So why shouldn't you and I